After more than a month holiday, primary and secondary school students return to classes in some parts of Nigeria on Monday. It's a prospect that leaves many parents struggling and unable to pay exorbitant school fees. With cost of living more than doubled, occasioned by recent fuel price hike, the prospect of students returning to school is not one many parents and guardians look up to at the moment. The lamentation seems louder from parents who have their children in private schools in Abuja.
My brother, it's not easy. I have tried all my best. As I'm talking to you now, I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but I know God will help me.
With the parents, what we are going through actually is not, things are hard. It's not easy at all. Paying for your kids' school fees, you still have to feed them. Going to school, they still have to go with food.
Shola Karim is the director of schools at the Artin, a private school in Eyebrow of Abuja. He said the situation is taking a toll on enrollment and that schools are barely just managing to stay afloat with the cost of electricity, fuel and everything else almost tripled.
It's a serious situation. We talk about the food prices, you talk about electricity hike, you talk about fuel, to fill your bus, you talk about so many things, diesel when there is no power. So when you look at all these things, as I mentioned, schools are just surviving now. It's no longer funny.
The school administrator thinks government urgently needs to do something about the situation, possibly come up with what he calls education subsidy to at least cover the cost of books.
If you're saying public school is free, which is for a man who is on minimum wage, who has a child or two children in that school, and by the time you account for what will transport these children from home to this place, the minimum wage is not even enough to transport the children. You're not talking about feeding.
According to Karim, the dire consequence of not paying enough attention to education in the country in the past has finally caught up with the country. Nigeria is currently home to the highest number of out-of-school children, about 12 million of them. An education policy analyst, Mutala Muhammad, believes the number of students who may likely drop out of school as a result of the hard times could drastically increase.
My fear and worry now is that the hardship and the increase in the fuel might also likely affect education by increasing the number of out-of-school children, because some parents might decide to take their children to farm where they would think at the moment they'll add more value than even going to school. And some parents might decide to engage the young girls in selling granules, selling corn. You can see them in the streets of Abuja.
Mohammed also calls for quick government intervention, especially in public schools, by raising their standards.
There's something we say cash to school and cash to home. In some states already there are introduced conditional cash transfer, supporting the poor household to allow the young girls to go to school under the World Bank supported Agile projects in Katsina and in Kaduna and in Niger and some few states. But it's beyond girls this time around. Even the boys need to go back to school.
In the face of this challenge, Edo State government and the Kano State government have postponed the resumption date of both primary and post-primary schools for the commencement of the 2024-2025 academic session. But unlike Edo, which mentioned the recent petrol price increase as the reason, the Kano State said its decision was for urgent reasons. It did not disclose the urgent reason. At the moment, parents are more at the receiving end of the rising school fees. It's a tough place at a hard time. Government says it is committed to taking the tough decisions, including increasing fuel price, for the joy of a glorious future. Omo Bazwai, Arise News.